Hi, my name is Matthew, and I should be dead.
That's definitely true.
Well, I was showing both of my addictions. You know, I found my dad's Playboy when I was 5 years old, and I started drinking beer or something in high school. So I actually was carrying both of my addictions, one in one arm, one in the other.
The world of glitz and glamour often hides a dark underbelly. Today, we're diving deep into the unsettling parallels between two Hollywood heavyweights, Matthew Perry and Kanye West. Both men, icons in their own right, have battled their demons publicly. Today, we'll expose the dark side of Hollywood, where enabling practitioners prey on the vulnerabilities of stars, fueling their addictions for profit. Fame comes at a high price, usually at the price of some addictions. It is time for accountability to be had. Matthew Perry's struggle with addiction was no secret. Tragically, on October 28, 2023, Perry was found lifeless in his California home. The official cause of death, acute ketamine intoxication. Investigations revealed a network of individuals, including Perry's own physician, accused of enabling his addiction for personal gain. Prosecutors allege that these individuals, driven by greed, supplied Perry with massive amounts of ketamine, fully aware of the potential consequences. Kanye West, a man known for his outsized personality and musical genius, finds himself at the center of another disturbing narrative. West's story revolves around an $850,000 dental procedure, a procedure shrouded in mystery and riddled with unsettling allegations. If you need to know the details of this entire story, check out the video we just put out on the debacle. Dr. Thomas Connelly, West's dentist, is accused of manipulating West using his celebrity status and vulnerability to gain control of his finances. Connelly is accused of supplying West with nitrous oxide, a powerful sedative, fueling a dangerous addiction. Allegedly, Connelly went to extreme lengths to keep West hooked, overcharging for unnecessary procedures and even supplying the gas outside of the dental office at a huge premium, just like Perry's doctors. Matthew Perry's struggles with addiction began with legitimate medical treatment. Perry, seeking relief from anxiety and depression, turned to a local clinic offering ketamine infusions.
Breaking news out of Los Angeles, where 2 doctors and 3 other people, including a woman known as the Ketamine Queen, have been charged in connection to the overdose death of Friends star Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry's journey began with unscrupulous doctors who abused their position of trust because they saw him as a payday.
I lay out the disturbing allegations and why the feds say all of these people committed crimes. Perry was receiving infusions of ketamine to treat anxiety and depression, but the medical examiner said the ketamine in his system at the time that he died had been ingested too recently to be from that depression treatment, more than a week before Perry died.
When the clinic refused to continue upping his doses of the drug, he had to find another way to get his fix. What started as a potential solution soon morphed into a terrifying new problem for Perry. Perry's reliance on ketamine intensified, leading him down a dangerous path away from the controlled legal environment of the clinic and into the shadowy world of illegal drug suppliers.
In this case, we are not talking about legitimate ketamine treatment. We're talking about 2 doctors who abused the trust they had, abused their licenses to put another person's life at risk. 5 defendants who, as I mentioned, knew what they were doing was wrong. In fact, one of them has sold ketamine that resulted in the death of another person in 2019. Nothing about what we see today was legitimate, and that's why we filed criminal charges.
Harry had now put himself within the hands of Dr. Salvador Plasencia and Dr. Mark Chavez. He was able to receive the high doses of ketamine that his body required to function and get high. But in time, as Matthew Perry's addiction spiraled, he found himself running out of money for his self-consuming addiction. Unwilling to continue to pay the exorbitant prices charged by his enabling doctors, he turned to the streets for his fix.
The 5 people charged in connection with Perry's death took advantage of his dependence on ketamine, ripping him off.
Matthew Perry sought treatment for depression and anxiety and went to a local clinic where he became addicted to intravenous ketamine. When clinic doctors refused to increase his dosage, he turned to unscrupulous doctors who saw Perry as a way to make quick money. Dr. Plasencia and Dr. Chavez violated the oath they took to care for their patients. Instead of do no harm, they did harm so that they could make more money. Without performing any medical evaluation or monitoring, they supplied Matthew Perry with large amounts of ketamine in exchange for large sums of money, charging Perry $2,000 for a vial that cost Dr. Chavez approximately $12.
Defendant Placentia was a medical doctor. He worked with another medical doctor, defendant Mark Chavez, to obtain ketamine. He then worked with Mr. Perry's live-in assistant, defendant Kenneth Iwamasa, to distribute that ketamine to Mr. Perry. Defendant Placentia saw this as an opportunity to profit off of Mr. Perry. He wrote in a text message in September 2023, quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay."
As Matthew Perry's ketamine addiction grew, he wanted more, and he wanted it faster and cheaper. That is how he ended up buying from street dealers who sold the ketamine that ultimately led to his death.
His new enabler, the ketamine queen of Los Angeles, Jasveen Sangha. It was through a street dealer named Eric Fleming that Sangha was selling ketamine and other drugs out of her home in North Hollywood to Perry, which inevitably led to his death. Court documents paint a grim picture of Perry's final months, with his in-home assistant Kenny Iwamasa, who would administer Perry's fix without any medical training whatsoever. These so-called doctors stand accused of exploiting Perry's desperation, supplying him with vast quantities of ketamine at exorbitant prices.
Perry turned to his street dealer, Eric Fleming, who sourced his ketamine from a drug trafficker known as the ketamine queen, Jasveen Sangha. The ketamine supplied by Sangha would ultimately be the dose that took Matthew Perry's life. In doing so, he followed the arc that we have tragically seen with many others, whose substance use disorder begins in a doctor's office and ends in the street.
The transition between doctors and dealers is quite common. Most people who are addicted to prescription medication become addicted under the care of a legitimate provider. When the price becomes too high, they then turn to the streets. Kanye West's journey to a new smile took a controversial turn when he reportedly spent a staggering $850,000 on permanent titanium dentures. But the procedure itself is not the crazy part. Yes, it gets even more insane. It's actually the circumstances surrounding West's dentist and the allegations that followed that have raised eyebrows and sparked concern. Adding to the controversy are whispers about West's alleged addiction to nitrous oxide, a powerful sedative often used in dental procedures.
Garcia, this Jay, I'm on the nitrous.
And I was at the dentist's office the other day. I was taking the nitrous oxide. I suggested if anybody's like stressed out.
According to Kanye's former chief of staff, Milo Yiannopoulos, Kanye's private dentist has been supplying him with huge amounts of nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas.
Kanye West has a public history of mental, emotional, and substance abuse disorders. One of his publicly acknowledged addictions is pornography. The point being, this is a sick man who is known to have previous addictions. At the heart of the Kanye West dental controversy stands Dr. Thomas Connelly, a Beverly Hills-based dentist known for his high-profile clientele. Connelly built a reputation for catering to the elite, offering a range of cosmetic and restorative dental procedures. However, behind Dr. Connelly's veneer of success, disturbing allegations began to surface. Connelly was accused of allegedly performing unnecessary procedures on Kanye in which nitrous oxide gas was administered. These allegations also include Dr. Connelly illegally providing nitrous oxide to Kanye outside of a medical setting to feed his addiction. It is also alleged that Connelly actually moved into the same building as Kanye in order to make it easier to administer the laughing gas more easily. And the prices that Connelly was charging Kanye for this illegal addiction was obscene. Again, to get more detail, check out the video that we recently put out on the subject. While the cases of Matthew Perry and Kanye West involve different substances and circumstances, they share a chilling commonality: the alleged exploitation of vulnerable individuals by medical professionals. Allegedly, both Perry and West sought help from their doctors, only to find themselves caught in a web of addiction and manipulation fueled by their medical practitioners. The entertainment industry, with its allure of fame, fortune, and access, can be a double-edged sword, particularly for those battling addiction. The pressures of fame, the constant scrutiny, and the relentless pursuit of success can exacerbate existing vulnerabilities, making individuals more susceptible to substance abuse and exploitation. The pressure to maintain a certain image, coupled with the easy availability of drugs and alcohol, can create a toxic environment where addiction thrives. The tragic stories of Matthew Perry and Kanye West, while shocking, are not isolated incidents. The dark underbelly of Hollywood, with its history of enabling and exploitation, has long been whispered about, often dismissed as an unfortunate byproduct of fame. For decades, the entertainment industry has grappled with a culture that often normalizes and even glamorizes substance use. One of the most insidious aspects of enabling practices, particularly when it involves medical professionals, is the way trust is weaponized. Patients seeking help and relief place their well-being in the hands of doctors, dentists, and therapists, believing these individuals will act in their best interests. This inherent power imbalance creates an environment ripe for exploitation. Enablers, hiding behind a veneer of professionalism and concern, can manipulate their patients, exploiting their vulnerabilities for personal gain. They may downplay the risks of certain medications, overprescribe addictive substances, or even supply drugs directly, all the while maintaining the illusion of care. This betrayal of trust can have devastating consequences. Patients already grappling with physical or mental health challenges may find themselves caught in a web of addiction, their lives spiraling out of control, as those entrusted with their care prioritize profit over their well-being. The cases of Matthew Perry and Kanye West are reminders that even the most successful and seemingly empowered individuals can fall victim to the manipulations of enablers. The investigation into Matthew Perry's death sent shockwaves through Hollywood, exposing the dark underbelly of enabling practices. The legal system began to churn, seeking to hold accountable those who played a role in the actor's tragic demise. Prosecutors, armed with damning evidence, moved swiftly to bring charges against those implicated. Kenny Iwamasa, Perry's assistant, faced charges for facilitating drug deals. Doctors Chavez and Placencia were charged with conspiracy to distribute ketamine. The law pressed down on those who exploited Perry's vulnerability.
So far, Eric Fleming has pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine resulting in death. Dr. Mark Chavez has also pleaded guilty to the same charge. Kenny Iwamasa has also pleaded guilty. Prosecutors say he actually injected Perry several times with ketamine the day that he died.
While the legal proceedings surrounding Matthew Perry's death unfolded, Kanye West's situation is presenting a different set of challenges. The allegations against Dr. Thomas Connelly, West's dentist, are serious and deeply concerning. We will all have to stay tuned to see how this particular case unfolds in the future. The public reactions to the cases of Matthew Perry and Kanye West, while both shocking and sad, are obviously going to be quite divided. What do you guys think? Is this Perry's fault? Does Kanye deserve what he gets? Let us know in the comments. You're going to have those who blame the individual themselves. They're rich, famous, and they have a brain. Why would they allow themselves to fall into the trap of addiction in the first place? Others will blame the doctors and say that it is their job, as per their oath, to protect and serve their patients morally and ethically. The news of Matthew Perry's death sent a wave of sorrow across the globe. Fans mourned the loss of a comedic genius and a relatable figure. Social media became a virtual memorial that was flooded with heartbroken tributes. On a personal note, I grew up with this guy. He is literally a part of who I've become as a person, and he is greatly missed by me. West, on the other hand, is a much more controversial character. Obviously, there's going to be more people passing judgment compared to compassion. He's a polarizing figure, known for his musical genius, unpredictable behavior, and outspoken views. He's a lightning rod for controversy, and obviously wants it that way. The allegations against his dentist, Dr. Connelly, while shocking, is being met with more skepticism and a healthy dose of internet humor. Memes were made. poking fun at the exorbitant cost of West's dental work and the absurdity of a rapper allegedly addicted to laughing gas. Some expressed genuine concern for West's well-being, acknowledging his history of mental health struggles, and urge people to have compassion. But many just see a situation as a consequence of his own choices, a life of fame, ego, and the perils of unchecked privilege. What are your thoughts on this matter? Let us know in the comments. Regardless, I believe that both men should be praised for coming out and speaking about their addictions and problems publicly. Both have a history of talking about their struggles in an attempt to help others with theirs. Regardless of whether you agree with them and their struggles or not, it is quite admirable. While there are many differences between Matthew Perry and Kanye West, one of the biggest differences is the fact that Perry is no longer with us. May his story be a reminder of the chance that Kanye has to turn his life around. May it be a reminder that medical professionals must keep their oaths and protect their patients, even if it is from themselves. Furthermore, they need to be held responsible for their actions. These cases, while shocking, are not isolated incidents, but rather grim reminders of a systemic issue that has plagued Hollywood and beyond for far too long. The culture of silence, fueled by fear, shame, and the power dynamics that often protect enablers, allows these predatory practices to thrive. For too long, the whispers of exploitation have been brushed aside, dismissed as an unfortunate byproduct of fame or the price of success. But the human cost of this silence is measured in shattered lives, broken families, and the tragic loss of potential. It's time to break the silence. Demand accountability from those in positions of power, whether they be medical professionals, industry executives, or anyone entrusted with the well-being of others. If you appreciate this content, please like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you all at the next video.